And it is Winning Women's Wednesday.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I guess technically this is an interstitial episode as I am the substitute Ashley today. Wow.
You are.
Yeah,
You are.
check that out.
But I love your vocabulary. You always introduce some great new words.
So,
say that again.
Interstitial.
Interstitial.
So they would be like the space between.
Yeah.
So like it's a little bit of connective tissue between
so good.
this and the next episode. But the cool thing is I get to now grill you on all the goings on because you're taking the show on the road.
Yes, I am.
And doing a little bit of big time conferencing with, so like my favorite thing is the biggest, it's like, obviously, of course, we all need to buy groceries or whatever.
Absolutely.
But the biggest thing for me in life is whenever the whole idea and everything kind of comes together and then becomes a reality.
Yeah.
And so for the way that you and I started this as an outcropping of Wayne,
Yes.
and I starting the other thing, which was an outcropping of just his ridiculous viral moment with David Goggins.
Amazing.
And that all started because the first time I did a live show, we actually went live for 17 minutes with no sound. And it filled so I was able to fill the need. We're like, I'll just do something.
Yeah.
And we'll go live, and then it'll be literally the bar will be on the floor. There's no raising the bar. We're lowering the bar because if it goes with no sound, who cares?
Right.
And so that's how but then to bring in Ashley as a guest, and then it was like, whoa. And then
And
when
we just hit it off.
yes,
Like,
that was the thing, because I
love that
can
girl.
never predict how it's going to go.
Right.
Because there is an element of it's a chemistry set.
absolutely.
You know, and we've never had a bad show.
No.
And so everything's, but like there's somewhere I come away, because like the thing is, I watch all of these as I'm prepping them to actually be saved and archived. And so, you know, I go in and like, you know, video nerd or whatever, I go in and tweak the colors and the horizontal or what have you. But then I remember texting you after the Ashley episode, I was prepping it and I was like, dude, that was really good.
Yeah.
And I was like,
I felt it when I left. It was so fun.
and it was like, what if we brought her in every week? And then, then the last couple of times, especially when y'all got off into like the strong sauce with
Sure.
some of the gals, it was like, I don't need to be, you know, it's like, I might actually, one of the payoffs for me was I'm getting more out of it by sitting here at the
Right.
end of the table just listening. And it's like, well, I got nothing to add to that. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't really need to be here. I mean, I'm here, but I don't need to be
Yes.
here
Yes.
as in the seat. And so that's how that morphed. And I like this where I can come in and be like
yes.
substitute
And we
teacher.
love having you. It's so fun.
Well, and like I said, the big thing for me was the payoff. And then now to see, because like, what do you guys got going here? The Women Who Win?
Yes. Yes.
So-
we have the Women Who Win conference coming in September 27th, I believe. Trying to get all those dates right because there's so many fun things.
Yes.
And it's going to be me, Chauncey, and Ashley just bringing it and really, really offering some tactical things that you can take away and apply immediately, and some encouragement, because with the way things are going right now, it's rough out there, and it's okay to acknowledge that, but let's step it up and really shine and make this our best year ever. And I think we can do that.
I'm in 100% agreement. And the other thing is, I'm always curious as to who's a wartime general and who's a peacetime general.
Right.
Because for the last, 7, 8 years or whatever, prior to the rate increase, prior to the rate hike,
Sure.
we had an artificially heated market
Absolutely.
where we had a lot of what I would consider third string players on
Yeah.
their best day, thinking they were Hall of Famers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And so this will, and it already has, weeded out, because it's like, you know, I fully admit I can be like snarky and petty or whatever. And so like I see.
That's why we love you. It's your charm.
Yeah, exactly. But I will see people on social media that I know are playing the role.
Yeah.
And I'll go and look up their numbers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's exactly what I thought it was.
Yeah.
You know, and now kudos to whomever for trying stuff and all of that. But it's like, I'm a huge proponent of what's on the label matches what's in the can.
Authenticity.
Yes. And because and it comes from being, you know, in sobriety, because you're familiar with recovery and the whole idea of having to maintain perception awareness and
Yeah.
having to essentially, oh, what's the story I have for that person or this person or whatever. That whole maintaining a facade is exhausting.
Absolutely.
And so,
So now's the time to stop maintaining the facade, be authentic with what you really know, and step out and look for that coaching, look for that community so that you can take advantage of this season and grow and really step into the type of agent you want to be.
amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so now, how are you guys divvying up the women who win?
Okay, so Ashley is going to come in and she is going to bring some encouragement to get you unstuck. She's probably going to cuss a little. Love her. Go, Ashley.
Well, everybody who actually knows me when I'm not doing my family friendly thing.
I have rules.
Yeah. I have rules when we're live, but even those get broken. I won't go any further than PG-13.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah. Actually, technically, I go PG because
Yeah.
PG-13 movies will actually allow for one F-bomb
Okay.
strategically placed. However, I won't do that here.
I appreciate that. So Ashley will probably be PG-13, no doubt. And she's she's really gonna give you some great tips and encouragement. And Chauncey is gonna bring, she is all about the social media game. And what's cool about Chauncey is she's gonna talk to you and teach you some tips on how to do social media your way, not her way, not all of the other TikTokers' way. It's about you being you. And so she's gonna teach you how to do that. And then I'm going to come in and we're going to put it all together and you're going to walk away with a plan and some action steps to actually implement what you've learned. And we're going to have some great sponsors and there's going to be some giveaways and some swag.
Okay, so y'all are like triangulating the thing. Okay.
It's going to be amazing. If you miss it, you'll be sad.
Right on.
And you're going to be there.
Well, yeah, and of course, me and the boys.
Absolutely,
the boys
love
who,
it.
The boys who shoot will be filming the women who win.
I can't wait. It's going to be so fun.
Yes,
so fun.
And maybe we'll come up with something where we can have like evergreen stuff after the fact.
Love it.
Maybe like I don't know, some sort of paywall kind of video, like where you can actually in case you couldn't be there.
Love that. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Kind of like a live album.
Yes.
Like back in the day, whenever we used to have like albums and like bands would actually.
Yes.
Bands would actually tour and play instruments and get recorded live.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And that crackle sound.
Yes.
Miss that.
Yes. But that really meant that you were taking care of your records.
Oh, that's true.
Which, yeah, all of mine sounded like it was a popcorn. You're listening into a popcorn machine.
Yes.
So, next up on your to-do list. So, which is first, broker boardroom or women who win?
Broker boardroom is first.
Okay, so I had them backwards. Okay,
it's okay.
Okay, so that is the Big Apple.
Yeah, can't wait. Broker boardroom in New York on September 24th. It's an all-day conference with Wayne Sammons and Hero Nation. The speaker list is incredible, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be so awesome. We're in this amazing loft space, I believe, in Tribeca. My daughter's going to go check it out and let me know how cool it
right
is.
on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You've got recon.
Yes, I've got recon. So it's going to be just an amazing, amazing experience. It's very intimate. I believe there's only 40 people attending.
I do know that. So like the times that Wayne and I have kind of gone down the rabbit hole of what that actually means as far as whenever, because like for me, it was interesting from the standpoint of, okay, these are legitimate, because there are so many. I mean, it's like a dime a dozen, and not to disparage anybody or like what they're like whoever's doing their gimmicks or whatever. I've got plenty of gimmicks, but it's like, oh, everybody's got a book, everybody's got everybody's got a thing. But like with Wayne bringing in guys that are heavy hitters that
absolutely
under the wrong circumstances you would feel intimidated and walk away feeling like, I don't deserve to be here. But he's got such a great vetting process.
Yeah.
And the idea is though, like if you are a heavy hitter and you are invited to broker boardroom to participate, you have to. There's no hiding in the corner.
No.
Because a lot of the professional speakers, so to speak, do these conference things where it's like, oh, they're over there telling you about a thing. It's not really practical application.
Well, and for me, I'm very much about it being interactive. So while I'm speaking, you're speaking back. Like
that was whenever he brought up the idea of the hot seat.
Yes.
That was the thing. I was like, oh. And not so much that he had the idea, because of course he's brilliant and he's so dialed in on that particular wavelength of getting the most out of every individual. But it's the fact that he could talk people into participating.
Yeah, that's huge, because it's great to hear what I have to say or what Wayne has to say or what you have to say. But I can say it over and over and over again. And if it doesn't connect with that person, it just doesn't connect. Doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. It's just not
Yes.
reaching them.
Yeah.
But if you stand up and say, okay, but I do it this way, and that gives them an aha, that's huge. And that's what it's about. I'm not trying to be right or wrong. I'm trying to facilitate some growth in the room.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to happen.
Well, and like last week, Wayne and I had on Friday, we had Nick Good in, and it's like, okay, that dude, aside from being massive, it was like there was, I said, whenever we started, it's like, oh my God, there's a gravity well on that side of the room where it was like, it felt like everything was just like the Joker's hideout. Everything was just tilted over.
It's awesome.
But where that dude has so much going on and has so many skins on the wall, and then for him to actually, there's an element of humility and gratitude that is, it's you can't fake it.
Right.
Is the gist of that. And then kind of by extension, the ability for, and it was like, Wayne invited Nick, and then I was like, oh, and there was another one where I like, as we were wrapping up the show, I think I said something along the lines of, like, oh, what do you think? And I was like, dude, I want to tell everybody that if you want good coaches and good coaching and mentors, and you want to raise the bar of your peer group, build a studio and host a show.
Yes.
That's the secret sauce. And so and the same goes for this. And when you and Ashley and the whole thing of, there comes a time when you get to, or at least for me personally, especially like given my backstory from say like 25 years ago,
Sure.
25 years ago, me did not exist in a continuum where this particular life was possible.
Right.
And so for that to be my real story back then, from a historical standpoint, to where I am now, it's mind blowing.
Yes.
And then to watch, like a lot of what I do now is like, I'm in the bleachers,
Yeah.
And I love watching like my peer group just kill.
Yeah.
And then the fact that y'all are doing this badass thing in New York.
And then we're doing it together.
Yes, exactly.
That's what
exactly.
community is
and now,
about.
And now did that come about from here?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. So
yes.
like now I'm 2 for 2.
Yes. No, it absolutely came from here because, well, and so I'm also doing a conference at the Colonial Country Club with Alamo Title and an amazing group of sponsors. Taylor,
Yeah.
that was on our show
Yes.
with Goosehead.
Yes.
Goosehead. Yeah, she connected me with that whole group. Glenda, same thing.
Yes.
So that's where all of that is coming from.
Corey and crew with
Yes,
Callie.
all
Yes.
of those people. So that's why community is so important, people. Coaching and community and being open to being authentically you.
Yes.
And sharing what you need and how you want to grow. That's how you're going to grow.
Well, yeah, and I that the beauty of that exact thing to live that where, okay, yes, I'm only half kidding when I'm like, oh, you build a studio and you do a show and then people come in and you get to ask the questions of, and there's like this ongoing, it's kind of a humorous slant or a joke in the sense of in recovery, people will sponsor people and you'll hear people say like, oh man, my dumbass sponsee or whatever said da 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 da, and then all of a sudden I just started talking this amazing shit. I don't know where it came from, and then I realized, oh, that was what I needed to hear, And so there's a lot of that where I'll throw out a question when in reality it's like I want to know.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, and here we can do a little coach's corner here too, where it's so like last week with Wayne and Nick, it was the idea of informed optimism or uninformed optimism versus informed pessimism, where it's like, beginner's luck, beginner's mind, Zen mind, beginner's mind, that kind of thing, where you're just a dumbass and you don't know any better, versus the middle phase of business where it's like, okay, now I know enough to be dangerous, and I also know that this kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And it's getting past that sort of mired down, sticky bog part.
Well, that takes me back to last week's episode where Chauncey talked about how when she first started, she was with Fathom, so she did everything from home.
Yes.
And she didn't know that her production levels were beyond normal. She thought she wasn't even meeting the goals she was supposed to meet and went to, I guess, like a December award ceremony, and she was way up there. And she couldn't possibly understand, wait, what, everyone's not doing $10 million a month?
Yeah, it's like the imposter wins. You're like, wait, what?
Because she didn't know. She had the uninformed optimism.
Yeah.
Yeah. in some ways that can be great.
Yes. Oh, it's absolutely the best for
Yeah.
coming out of the gate strong.
Absolutely.
But it's very difficult. It's not sustainable.
No, because eventually, and anyone, she would speak to this too, eventually you have to have systems and tools in place. And
Yes.
that's where you start to get bogged down and things start to go awry.
Yes. And having the self-awareness to a level that is being okay with realizing, oh, I'm the bottleneck.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
where there's that uninformed optimism where you don't know what you don't know. And so you do everything.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you are the chief cook, bottle washer. You are the receptionist. You are the salesman. You are the bill collector. You are the account,
All
the
the
CFO,
things.
all the things.
Yes.
And then you go to a level where like, okay, I bring on somebody and then, okay, that interests us a little bit now, but now I'm actually wearing two of the same hat because I got to clean up after this other, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so there's a part in there where, and it was so funny because I brought up the fact that Lance, what up, Lance? Lance is the first partner that I've had that's actually been like my age.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a huge thing where I'm like, okay, now I got to be wary of the fact of blowing him up, you know, because he's been in business, you know, a comparable amount or longer, and to have somebody where in the beginning you're on an island, you know.
Absolutely.
Now you work with Alan and everything, so like,
Yeah.
Now how long have y'all been co-workers?
I would say 8 years probably.
Okay, so y'all didn't start that way.
No. He was in ministry for a long time. And then once he left ministry, that's when we started working together. And we worked full on agent. He's kind of stepped back and is not as much in the agent role now. He's more handling the marketing and advertising, that sort of piece. But yeah, it's rough. It's great, but it's challenging. I mean, it's a lot. So as we grow on the coaching side and then on the real estate side, definitely we're seeing that space where it's time for systems, it's time to incorporate more people, and the growth journey is challenging. And that's why you need a coach and you need people like you have Lance that you can talk to and answer questions that are a little bit further along in the journey.
Yeah, or just even like the sounding board aspect.
Oh my gosh,
where,
yes.
Just to verify, okay, I'm not insane.
Yeah.
I'm not completely out of my mind. And, you know, to get to a level where you're even okay with that.
Well, Ashley's been that for me.
Oh, right on.
She's been great because, I mean, things are challenging right now, and it's just the nature of the market, and it will change, and it will be challenging in a different way when it does change. But she and I, since I won't let her cuss, she sends me TikToks.
What, did she send you TikTok to people cussing?
Yes. So she sends me TikToks, and that's how I know that she needs something.
Oh, okay. So, I love it.
Yeah, we're having a blast. But yeah, having that sounding board to really not only offer you advice, but to give you encouragement and wisdom, and then to check on you a couple days later. Hey, how did that go? That's huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Well, and it's cool, you know, whenever you get that person that is essentially like you're riding shotgun with them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, this is cool. You know, because the entrepreneurial thing, as much as it's glamorized or whatever, there's no pamphlet, there's no guidebook. I didn't get a syllabus.
No.
You know,
and it's different for everyone.
It is 100% is. You know, and thank God, I'm not battered by my emotions 24/7.
Yeah,
and that the hard parts are now easier.
Yeah.
And so now but that means there's time for new hard parts.
Absolutely.
You know?
But you're more accepting of the hard parts.
Yes. And you realize like, okay, none of this was fatal.
Yeah.
You know.
But did you die? That's always Alan's question is, but did you die? I'm like, well, no, but it still wasn't fun.
Yes. Well, and I think too, there is an element of getting used to the idea of like, no, it's not fun. You know, there's a lot of
things that aren't fun.
Or even better, that learn to have fun when it's not fun.
Yes.
You know, or it's almost the
embrace the suck.
Yes.
And get through it and move on.
Yes. Yeah. Be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yes.
There. How about look at all those bumper stickers we just
threw out there. A lot of bumper stickers.
Yes.
Come on.
I mean, you could put in half a dozen.
Yes. And I think that that's where women struggle, because we have this mindset that we want to do it ourselves. We don't want to ask for help. And then you factor real estate and realtors into that, And there's just this isolation and loneliness because we don't want anyone to know that we aren't really closing 50 deals a year.
Yeah.
Or we don't really understand this new buyer's rep and we're really scared about it. We as women, more than ever, need to be reaching out, getting that training, having that collaboration, having that community. It's really time for that. And the realtor community as a whole.
It's so interesting to me because, like, from the male perspective, the same thing applies. Where dudes are, by and large, going to have that John Wayne syndrome.
Yeah.
Nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, got 6 bullet holes in you, like, nothing's
I'm
wrong.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And women are now kind of hamstrung by that same
100%.
kind of mentality based on, well, I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm going to have to do this myself.
Right.
And so, like, you have two.
Nobody's asking
Yeah.
any questions,
Yeah.
and we're all just burnt out and pissed off.
Two different islands.
Yes.
And so it's funny too. But now, thankfully, I you know, knock wood, baby Jesus, whatever. I have not experienced burnout.
That's good.
And now maybe that's because I don't have much of a other life that I'm trying to do anything in, and so everything just, you know, ... fill in the blank takes a back seat.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't have to, you know, I don't have significant other. I don't have kids. I don't even have a dog anymore.
You
know?
want one? I got
No,
3.
No,
You sure?
Baby Shiva lived to be 19. And it was like, she's the only dog I ever had that actually died of old age. She died in her sleep, curled up next to me. And it was like, we're going to end on a high and we're not ever going to get another dog.
I mean, 19 years. That's a long time.
And I was sober the entire time.
Fantastic.
So she lived the life of the queen.
Oh, no doubt.
That was also a make good for every other dog that I accidentally mistreated, or, you know, didn't walk because I was passed out or whatever, you know, like fill in, like whatever nebulous, you know, transgression that I had against
in the
any of
pet
the dogs.
world.
Yeah, in the pet, yes, exactly, in the pet world. So so baby Shiva lived the life of,
Wow, 19. Oh my goodness.
Yes. And so I don't know how I got off on the dog tangent, but so like I'm a workaholic,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm sure I have transferred a lot of my isms of the negative nature or whatever into workaholism because it's encouraged.
what we do.
It's what we do.
It's what we do.
And so thankfully I don't have that. And so what is your parting shot for the week?
Ooh. My parting shot for the week.
So are you freaked out? Because, like, what's today? Today is the 16th. Isn't tomorrow D-Day?
Tomorrow's D-Day.
Yes.
My parting shot for the week is I'm having an open house on Saturday, and I can't wait to meet all the new people who come in.
Right on.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay.
worried about it. It's going to be great.
Right on.
Yeah. Buyers are going to learn to follow the new forms, and it's going to be good. Like, I'm just not worried.
Well, and kind of to back what I was saying earlier, I fully believe it's this weird thing where being a realtor is an actual career, and it is actually a
100%.
job, and it is actually a learned set of skills.
Yeah.
And there are soft skills that you either kind of have or you don't have.
For sure.
And then there's all the legalese and all the
systems.
The connective bullshit, the
stuff.
tangential, the stuff. But all of that is wrapped up in, to be a really good one, you really have to have a pretty amazing skill stack. And
You have to be able to build relationships. And that's what it really boils down to. And that's why I'm not trying to be nonchalant about the forms. I'm not worried about that because I've built relationships with my clients.
that's where I was going with that, where it was
Yeah.
like, this will be Armageddon of a sort.
Yeah.
It'll be a flavor of Armageddon. But I also believe it will pull the curtain back, and the ones that are good
Sure.
will go to the next level.
Absolutely.
And the ones that aren't will be sacking groceries.
They will. They
you
will.
know? And so I love the fearless approach. It's like, oh, whatever.
Yeah.
You know? And I think the rate cut's going to happen next month.
Yes. That I'm more concerned and interested in the rate cut than I am about the forms. Like, I really am. Like, it is. Gary Keller, Mega Camp was a few days ago, and he talked about the recession. Like, real estate's already in a recession.
Oh, yeah, it has been.
We are leading the recession, and we're going to lead the way out.
Yes.
So people, get ready for those rates to drop. Start calling your clients. Be the professional that you need to be. Don't worry about those forms because there's people out there that are ready, willing, and able to buy houses, especially when those rates drop a point. So,
Absolutely.
Come on, let's get after it.
Get your game face on.
Get your game face on. And if you don't know how to do it, give me a call. We'll set you up with a strategy session.
Holler. All right. Thanks, y'all.
Thank
you.
you.
And it'll be back to winning women only next week.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun.
Yes.
Hey, this was fun.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you. See you guys.